To the phones, Tom Murphy now joins us here on the Morning Rush, Arkansas Democrat-Gazette, Whole Hog Sports. Tom, we'll keep it there for a second. Then I want to ask you a Big 12 question. We've seen certain lists come out where KJ hasn't been either top 10, top 15, top 20, and KJ pays attention to this stuff. He's occasionally active with it on social media. Sam Pittman has talked about it with his quarterback. If you're an Arkansas fan, don't you kind of want to see KJ off these lists so he's motivated even more this upcoming season?
Yeah, good morning, guys. That's a good one. Yeah, because, last offseason, it was a 247, I guess the national folks put together their quarterbacks in the SEC, and KJ came out 14th. And I did the same thing, but I did entire quarterback situations, like with the backups and all that. And I had Arkansas, I believe, at 9th. I had him ahead of like A&M, South Carolina, maybe like Kentucky, when we thought Joey Gatewood might be the starter and so on. But anyway, and he even mentioned that was fuel for him. So I think you guys might have sent me the list of, 15 best quarterbacks in the country, and he wasn't on that. And there's some guys on there that you feel like KJ is going to outproduce or could outproduce. And I honestly, does he project to the NFL? I mean, why not? He completed 67.1% of his passes, higher than Kendall Briles even really projected for him, and was a great running quarterback. So I don't know if you can make the blanket statement as KJ goes, the U of A goes, but when the quarterback is so vital in what you're doing that, you take the Auburn game, he didn't play particularly well. They didn't play that well as a team. So a lot of the fortunes of this football team are going to ride on how well KJ gets it done this year.
A lot of the fortunes of the Big 12 are going to ride on the incoming decisions that probably certain Pac-12 schools have to make. And, Tom, I don't know if you paid much attention to Big 12 Media Day yesterday, but their commissioner said nothing is imminent, but they're wanting to make sure the Big 12 is positioned the best possible way. What are your thoughts on what the Big 12 future looks like and what it could be for the future of that league?
Yeah, you have to cast out all the lines that you can and say we're open for business and all, but I mean, aren't they taking in Cincinnati, Houston, maybe BYU in the coming years? And obviously you got Oklahoma and Texas leaving, so it's going to be revamped. Look, I put myself down in the column of not a fan of super conferences. I think when you blow up the geographic ties of schools and you put UCLA and USC playing Rutgers and so on in the Big Ten, I just think it's just not good. I mean, it might be good for their TV negotiations, but I don't think it's good for the health of the game. And so it seems inevitable, and Nick Saban had talked about how he doesn't think it's very good. And then we saw yesterday there were some news items that Jim Boeheim said that the basketball coaches talk amongst themselves, and they do not like expansion. So, at some point, some kind of reality needs to set in, and maybe we put a slowdown on that. But it seems like it's a speeding train. I'm sure Greg Sankey and the coaches at SEC Media Days next week are going to be asked about it, and I don't know where it ends. But when you combine it all, you're talking about NIL and the style of recruiting that we're seeing now and this expansion stuff. It just seems like it's a whirlwind, and there's really like no guidelines, and it simulates some chaos in my view.
Isn't this still, I mean, I know TV markets are at the top of the list of considerations, but this still comes down to college football playoff access and how many seats your league's going to get at an expanding table at some point in the future. This is still, and Greg Sankey foreshadowed this a while back, saying, hey, we're the SEC, we're going to be fine, but you guys need to get on board and do something, or the music's going to stop and you're not going to have a place to sit, and that's kind of what we're seeing right now.
It is what we're seeing right now, and that's where, the big money is making the playoffs. And I think the foreshadowing comment you just made, I think, speaks to the fact that the NCAA kind of checked out on the NIL and administering and overseeing it, and I think the autonomous conferences are going to somehow maybe put together their own brand of enforcement and rules adherence. When that happens, I don't know, but that just seems to be where we're headed.
Yeah. So I'll be interested to see what ends up happening. I bet the Big 12, Tom, if they had it to do over, if they'd known then what they know now, they'd like to figure out a way maybe to rescind some of those 4 offers you mentioned a moment ago that came in after the news last year that broke it at media days. There's probably some more attractive options in what's left of the Pac-12. Probably served college sports better if the best of those 2 leagues merged.
Yeah, it probably would suit their interest the best. And to me, it's all about, what the fans want to do and all. And I don't think that just plays into these decisions very much. Like, what do Colorado fans want? I mean, are they just happy going to the bong shops and going to the slopes and hiking, or are they into their football team? So I don't even know why I just said that.
Did you just say bong shops? Is that what I heard?
Yeah, something like that.
With a capital B, he did. Yeah.
It's legal out there, so.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, I am so happy you said that this morning. Tom Murphy with us here on the Morning Rush. Tom, renewal of season basketball tickets has already been underway for a couple months. Got an email the other day talking about Razorback Foundation stuff, and it kind of depends on where it's at. Tommy and I both predict it's going to be above 90%. There's not going to be that many season tickets left. I told Eric Musselman down in Omaha, this is the most basketball we've talked in July and June since I've been doing sports talk radio. You think that basketball-wise, if someone can only afford basketball or football tickets, that there might be some people that choose basketball this year?
Wow. That's a great question. And if you're pinned down like that as a fan, you have to make the choice of one or the other. It's a hot ticket, and you're inside in air conditioning, and parking and getting out of games is not as tough. And so, and that with the recruiting and the way that this administration and coaching staff has run the deal, that they're going to be a contender. And so why not go with a hot ticket? But I don't think football's in bad shape at all either. I think their season tickets are going to be fine. And I don't know. We talk about this quite a lot, but when you look across the entire spectrum, if you had season tickets to softball or soccer or any sport on campus right now, you're seeing a big-time winner. Baseball, they are getting it done across the board.
You talked about a sport being inside. Tom, did you get a chance to go down to El Paso, Texas, when they played the Longhorns a couple years back? Can't remember if you went.
No, I wasn't involved in that. I haven't been in El Paso since about 93 or something like that.
Okay. Well, I saw this from Front Office Sports yesterday. Gonzaga and Michigan State, they're going to be playing on an aircraft carrier once again on Veterans Day. Now, Arkansas's got some awesome trips. You've got Maui, you've got the Bahamas, you've got Valencia, Spain, all that jazz coming up off season before this season. Guys, what would we do? I mean, how exciting would that be to see Arkansas basketball play on an aircraft carrier? I would pay a gob of money to see that game in person.
Yeah, they are an attractive team now because of the recruiting they're doing, and now Eric Musselman and his coaching staff can sell the recruits on. Look, we're going to be playing in the highest profile. You always see Kentucky, North Carolina, Duke, and Michigan State, and these teams in these special things. Well, now Arkansas is in that conversation. Kansas, and you're going to see them playing in Hawaii, overseas. I mean, I know you can only do that once every 4 years, but they are very attractive to the promoters who are putting together these events.
Yeah, it should be fun to watch. I mean, I think Nick Smith brings in an element and a conversation, but being one of the top players in the country, there's a lot of people that, followed the top recruits. I think, they'll continue to follow him at Arkansas for the, you say you hope that the 1 year he's here, you hope he has a good enough year that it's a no-brainer for him to leave, because that means he had a great season at Arkansas.
Yeah, and we could be straight in the realm of the one and dones at Arkansas. It's part of the game now, and hey, you'd rather have them than be playing against them. So it's all part of the balance now of the rosters. In basketball, it's one and dones, transfer portal, JUCO guys, whatever, freshmen, signees, and in football, it's all those things as well. And it's a balancing act now in basically every sport, and that's why you got to be good at what you do.
Tom, you like nostalgia and history. Does that draw you to the Open Championship this weekend? It's on now. John Daly's finished at 1 over par. St. Andrews and the nostalgia of the Open, has that got you hooked for the weekend?
I'll put an eye on it, much like I'll put an eye on Wimbledon and all that. But man, the days of like watching every round and being glued to the TV, I got so many other interests and things that, like my garden, that I'm about to go get in.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'll have it on in the background, or I'll listen to it on Sirius XM.
Yeah. How them tomatoes doing? They burned up yet?
They are getting close, but man, I'm bringing them in by the dozens on the daily. So we got a ton right now.
Yeah, mine are a little late blooming. I think I got them planted a little bit late. Tom, we'll talk to you next week from Atlanta as we get SEC Media Days cranked up on Monday.
Yeah, let's communicate, and I'll find you guys in the radio section. See you then.
All right, Tom Murphy joining us here on the Morning Rush.
Partners at BetOnline continue to be the #1 source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest odds, news, and sports developments, including this year's Wimbledon Finals, Major League Baseball, the latest fighting news, and even next season's early NFL futures. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code BLEAV. That's BLEAV to get the bonus and get into the action. Bet online, where the game starts.